This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi everyone, Rusty back here with your latest Hurricane Tammy forecast on Meteo Mundo. This is going to be for the Friday 5 p.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. We'll talk about the track of Tammy through the northern Windward Islands tonight and overnight, and then into the Leeward Islands. The expansive tropical storm conditions expected across the islands, and the potential hurricane conditions in some areas as well. So again, looking at the 5 p.m. advisory, those numbers are on the top of your screen. I guess one decent piece of news is that Tammy hasn't strengthened any since the last full advisory at 11 a.m. Winds are still 75 miles an hour, moving west-northwest at 7 with a pressure of 991 millibars. Tammy certainly doesn't look more impressive on satellite imagery here, and we'll talk and delve more into that coming up in just a second. But the track and the forecast intensity from the Hurricane Center remain virtually unchanged. Again, taking Tammy as a Category 1 hurricane through the northern Windward, southern Leeward Islands tonight and overnight, and then through the remainder of the Leeward Islands Saturday and Saturday night, slowly strengthening Tammy to winds of 85 miles an hour. Now, as we delve into what's going to be happening with Tammy, I do want to start off with the current watches and warnings. Do note, though, that of course these are going to change, but as of the 5 p.m. Friday advisory, we do have a hurricane warning for more areas now. Hurricane warning includes Guadalupe, Antigua, Barbuda, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, St. Martin, and St. Bartholomew. A hurricane watch is in effect for Dominica, and then a tropical storm warning is in effect for Dominica as well, and Saba and St. Eustatius. And we continue with a tropical storm watch for Barbados and for Martinique. Again, these will change, and for local information in your area, we urge you to check in with your local officials and your local government for the latest on these watches and warnings and any other pertinent island information that you need to know about. All right, as we get into what's happening with Tammy, thank you for liking the video. And if you want the latest information and the latest forecast here on Tammy from Meteo Mundo, make sure you subscribe. Tammy, again, actually looks a little less impressive at the hour. It's been fighting some wind shear, which has really kind of not helped the upper level circulation of Tammy. That's great news, but we still have really deep convection on the southeast side. It's a little bit waned on the northwest side right now. And the center, though, is not exposed. That's why the Hurricane Center is still keeping it with winds of 75. But again, overall, it lost that eye wall structure that it was trying to build earlier this morning. And again, we can see the deep convection to the south and to the east. But again, the Hurricane Center says, okay, it's still fighting a little bit of shear, but there's still exceptionally warm sea surface temperatures. And overall, our thinking is unchanged. There's not going to be rapid strengthening with Tammy, but slow and steady strengthening from 75 to 85 maximum sustained winds is likely as we get into the Leeward Islands on Saturday. I'm going to take the satellite imagery off. Again, when you look at this model, what you're looking at are the tropical depression winds up to 39 miles an hour in blue, the tropical storm winds 39 to 73 in purple, and then the pink is going to be your hurricane force winds 74 miles an hour or greater. We do have those right now in Tammy. They extend outward up to 25 miles. But again, Barbados is just to the south and west of where Tammy is right now. It's moving away from you. St. Lucia has been able to stay well away. Martinique is going to be a little bit closer, and that will be the trend, friends, as we go farther into the northern Windward Islands. Obviously, just where the location of the islands are and the potential track of Tammy, it's just going to take it a little bit closer to the islands themselves. So potentially more impacts, especially as we get up towards Dominica. And again, with that, Tammy is forecast to have winds staying at 75. So no real strengthening through the northern Windward Islands as we get towards Dominica and then emerging into the southern side of the Leeward Islands. But it's a close approach. And again, I want to be very clear about this. Subtle changes in track, either east or west, will have significant differences in the impacts that we see for the islands. Right now, Dominica on that center line would be about 60 plus miles away from the center of Tammy. But again, don't focus on that center line. The impacts will be felt in a much wider area, but we're going to try and keep the core of those hurricane winds off of Dominica and hopefully most of the Leeward Islands. But there are a couple of islands I'm more concerned about, and we'll look at that coming up. But again, if we can shift this slightly off to the east overall, that would be a bit better. Not saying that's going to happen, but again, you know, looking at the potentials here, just a minimal shift either east or west will continue to have some big potential impacts as well. So as we get up towards Guadalupe, again, it's going to be a close approach for both the stronger tropical storm and even the potential hurricane force winds. The model keeps it slightly off of there right now, and so does the centerline track from the hurricane center, which now you're looking at around 25 miles of basically space between the center of Tammy passing to the east of Guadalupe. As we get towards Antigua and Barbuda, those are the areas that I'm most concerned about right now. I want to show you that if we're looking at the two islands that I expect to have the most direct impacts, simply based from the Hurricane Center's forecast track, it's going to be Antigua and Barbuda. Those are the areas with the highest potential right now to see hurricane conditions. You can see that based on the track from the Hurricane Center, it would take Tammy very close, if not over, those islands. Again, this would be during the day on Saturday and into Saturday night. There could still be significant impacts for places like Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, and then over towards St. Martin and Anguilla as well, but probably not as prominent if it stays on this track. Again, what we would love to see is a little bit farther shift off towards the east. But again, we can't guarantee that. If you live in these areas, you have to expect a very, very high chance for tropical storm conditions and the potential for some hurricane conditions. That's winds of over 74 miles an hour, especially in places like Antigua and Barbuda. All right, I can show you the GFS model, and I'm going to, again, overlay the Hurricane Center's track here as well, so I can switch that on. And I'm going to take this model and I'm going to loop it. I did this in the last update as well, and I'm just honestly looking with you guys at real time here whether the GFS model has slid any farther off towards the west. It hasn't. Now, the Hurricane Center hasn't bought in to Tammy recurving this quickly and going along with the GFS model and keeping it farther east of the islands. That would be a good solution. But again, we haven't bought into that. And if you notice, the initialization of the GFS is slightly east of where Tammy actually is right now. So again, unfortunately, it looks like more than likely that won't be the case. The Hurricane Center is not, again, going with that model. I'm going to show you also what's happening with the NAM model, the North American model. Give me just 1 second here. I'm going to extend this out into time. And again, the NAM model is more in agreement with the National Hurricane Center as far as its actual track of Tammy being basically right up that envelope. You can see that again. It's going to stutter for a second here. But now it's much weaker than what the Hurricane Center has, a much more kind of elongated storm. But you can see that track for the NAM is right up through the northern Windward and into the Leeward Islands. So I show you this because there are still some differences in some of the major models, which is why this track line is not gospel. We would hope that there might be a bit of an easterly shift in this, but there's absolutely no guarantees that's going to happen. And again, if I live in the northern Windward Islands, I would prepare for tropical storm conditions with a potential for some hurricane conditions. And if I live in the Leeward Islands, I would prepare certainly for tropical storm conditions and in some areas, potential for some hurricane conditions as well. So again, looking at the potential impacts, and this comes straight from the National Hurricane Center's 5 p.m. advisory, tropical storm winds of 55 to 73 miles an hour and potential hurricane winds of over 75 are possible for the northern Leeward Islands later tonight and into early on Saturday. Hurricane force winds of 74 miles an hour or higher are possible in portions of the Leeward Islands, and again, especially Antigua and Barbuda, based on the track from the Hurricane Center, and that would be Saturday and Saturday night. As far as rainfall goes, for the northern Windward Islands, 2 to 4 inches, a maximum of 6. For the Leeward Islands, it's 4 to 8 inches with a maximum of 12. And for our friends in the Virgin Islands and eastern sides of Puerto Rico, 1 to 2 inches with a maximum of 4. Remember that these rains could produce some urban and localized flash flooding, and in some of the higher terrain, the potential for some mudslides as well. We're also going to see really rough surf and sea conditions. A storm surge of 1 to 3 feet is possible to go along with dangerous swells and rip current conditions. And of course, I'll mention it again, always consult your local officials and your local government for detailed information in your area as far as the latest watches and warnings and any island-specific information. That, of course, is out of the scope and beyond the scope of what we do here at Meteo Mundo. So getting back one more time to Tammy, one more look at it here as of the 5 p.m. Friday advisory. Winds are 75 miles an hour, moving west-northwest at 7. We expect to see impacts into the northern Windward Islands beginning later tonight, overnight into Saturday morning. at least of tropical storm conditions, hopefully keeping the hurricane force winds east of those islands. But then as we get into the Leeward Islands on Saturday, a more direct impact of strong tropical storm or hurricane force conditions are possible in the Leeward Islands. Again, especially for Antigua and Barbuda based on this track. But again, we'll keep you updated with the newest information. And again, some of this can and will change, and that's what we'll all continue to keep you updated. So thank you very much for tuning into this latest forecast. Again, thank you for liking the channel and subscribing to the channel as well. And for the latest information on Tammy and across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, we'll see you here next time at Meteo Mundo.